During September last year, I was in a very dull phase. I was almost about to give up on my vision. I was going through a rough phase at that time. I had given up on my social media. I had stopped taking client calls. I had given up on almost everything. One day in the evening, I got a call. I got a call from Ruchi, who is the founder of her entrepreneur network, which I'm a part of. She called me just to check what's going on with your work, what's going on, what are you doing? It's okay, come out, just do something. That one call that evening gave me all the support that I needed as an entrepreneur. That one call gave me the push in the right direction. Instantly and immediately, I got up, I made a few calls, I messaged a few people, I got in touch back with my marketing team. I started setting up everything. And in the last 4 5 months have been the most eventful in my entrepreneurial journey. I have come up with a journal, I've done a lot of things. So that is the impact a person can have on you. And today I'm very, very happy to have Ruchi on my podcast. Welcome, very, very big welcome, Ruchi.
Thank you so much, Rohini. I actually forgot about that call, but I remember that time now.
See, that is the point, Ruchi. We don't know what act of kindness we are doing to someone at certain point, but then it has a big impact on people,
Yeah, yeah. But
right?
but you know what? It is like what you were going through, I was going through something similar around September, October myself also. I could
Okay.
really, really, really empathize with
Wow.
what you were going through.
Wow, awesome. Let's get into all of that. Just let me give a little bit of introduction into what exactly you do. Ruchi had run a creative designing unit for 10 years. She's been an entrepreneur all her life. And 10 years into entrepreneurship, she realized that, it is a very lonely journey to go through this. And that's when she realized the need of association with other entrepreneurs, other women entrepreneurs who are growing. And because of these learnings and experiences that she had, she found N, which is her entrepreneurial network, which is a wonderful platform for anybody who's starting up. You get all the support you need. You get all sorts of, shared learnings that you can learn, and you get lots of push to start your entrepreneurial journey. So Ruchi. That's what Ruchi is doing right now. She's an inspiration to all of us. We, in fact, call her Mother Hen. So she gives
Thank
us
you.
whatever is required to go through our journey. And we are going to learn today about her journey, how she started, what happened, how she became and came to the situation that you are in today.
Thank you so much, Rohini, for this opportunity, for having me come and share my journey. And Radhe Krishna to all the viewers. I thank you for giving me your ears to listen to me. To kind of start with how I started, just after school, when everybody is planning what to do for their college, what subjects to take. And I wasn't getting my dream subject, so I decided I will not graduate. So yes, I'm not a graduate. And in early 2000s, when I stood up and I said that I will not graduate, of course, it wasn't taken with so much kind-heartedness like I am talking about it now. There was a lot of conflict I went through with my parents, family, friends, everybody. But I kind of just chose to do graphic design because they told me that if I learn this skill set, I can, make e-greeting cards and sell it all over the world. I was like,
Oh,
okay, let me do this. And in my first 3 months of learning graphic design, I won a logo design competition for first restaurant bar in Eastern India. And that gave
wow.
me some money and little glamour because my logo was all over the city in Calcutta. I was
Mm,
like, okay, so if this is working for me, then might as well just take this forward. So I just started to learn graphic design. Then I went into learning design, branding, and I was freelancing. So I come from the world of Orkut.com when social media marketing was not even a thing. I
not
used
even.
Orkut.com to get me my first customer, to get me my first business partner, also to get me my first vendors. So
I'm
I have
guessing
used.
The generation of Orkut people never thought they can use it for a business purpose also. You were
Yeah,
doing social media before even social media
yeah.
was thinking about it.
Yeah, because what happened was at that time I needed work and I knew nobody in the industry. And I don't come from a family or a circle where people knew advertising world or branding world. So I had nowhere to go. So I thought, when people are looking out for friends over here, I might get my needed people over here. So yes, so I mean that's where I come from. And
Mm.
because things were happening at that time, I was very naive and I wasn't so smart. I think I would like to say I'm little smart now because I made a lot of mistakes. I started my business
Of course. That is the
way
whole
early.
point talking about it, that we talk about our mistakes. We want whoever is listening to know that mistakes are part of this journey, mistakes are
Of
part of our
course,
life. It's not like
of
you
course.
made one mistake and then you give up, Where
Yeah,
to reach
yeah.
where you reach, you would have to come through a field of mistakes, so to speak.
Exactly, exactly. So I have actually walked through a field of mistakes, and I think I still walk through them. Can't grow without it.
True.
However, first few mistakes that I made was when I started business, and I come from a business family, but because I partnered with somebody I didn't know. I met this person on Orkut, and he didn't know me. I didn't know him. Like we just found our principles of working same, and we said, okay, we will work together.
Mm.
So my family wasn't supportive of that idea,
Okay.
but I irrespective initiated and I kind of got rolling with it. And
Mm.
to run the business, I started hiring my classmates. And
Okay.
at that time, I didn't know how to keep a decorum where you keep your friends and your work relationship together, but not together. So I
True.
screwed up big time there. And then, life always has another plan for you. So how me and my partner thought that we will work in this fashion, it just changed 360-degree. We were suddenly in soup of problems. And I saw myself doing uh, client management, project management, hiring, accounts, all of it with zero understanding of what was happening.
What
The
there?
only exposure I had for all of this was because we have a family store of saris and suits.
Mm.
We manufacture, retail, wholesale them, and from young age I've seen this business in my house, and my father have always have us participate in this business. So I knew some basic principles of business, and I just used those in my design business, which was called Idea Perfect. And I was working from 8 a.m. to 4 a.m. for good 2.5 years.
Oh, wow.
So I was just all over the place, right? It's only after that I realized that it's not coming together. I should just pause everything and I need to redo everything and I need to learn from my mistakes.
You have
At
a
that
very big point that the need for the team, a setup of people who can do specific jobs is such a necessary part of growing as an
So
entrepreneur.
multiple things. You should have a team, of course. You should
Mm.
know how to delegate. You should also know what your strengths are. You should also be assertive in business. Like one of the problems that I faced initially was, you know, I um, I come from a Marwari family, and I never asked for money. It just used to come to me. So when I was running my business, I would send invoices and payments don't come in time. So you have to ask people that you got to pay in time, right?
Of course.
And in my early days of business, I used to shy away from that also. I used to, talk to my clients, but I would never tell them that, you got to pay. Moreover, all my clients were like 2x my age at that time. So
Hmm.
I would have my own inhibitions. So a lot of my cash was stuck. And there was a time that I had to pay salary and my bank account didn't have that money because I wasn't asking people for money. So I went to my one of my customers, and I really really look up to him. Even now I talk to him, and I told him that, sir, we did a brochure design for you, and this money that you would have given me next week, can you just give me this week? In fact, now, because I just need it. So when I asked him that, Rohini, he told me that look, in business, cash flow is a thing. You got to be working on it.
You got
Number
to
one.
be
Number
true,
two, taking money from people or taking money to run your business is business loan, and people take in crores and lakhs. You're just asking for your own earned money. Why are you shying away from it?
true,
And three, you should ask for your things with right, not like plead. There is nothing special that I'm doing for you. He gave me a very big lesson that day.
true.
So
What was your mindset like? What were the doubts you were having at that point of time?
there was no doubt, it's just exposure. Because
Mm.
nobody else around me was like none of my friends were running business, right? I wasn't able to talk about my business problems to anybody because there was nobody else doing what I was doing.
Doing what you were doing at
And
that.
and I could only talk to my clients. And when I'm talking to my clients, of course, there is a lot of work that goes into sign up a client,
True,
because
true.
freelance at that point in time, design people were still going to advertising agencies. Design units had not come in. So I
Mm.
was in an industry that was not positioned yet, and I
Mm-hmm.
was young. So I was breaking a lot of myths when I was working with people,
True.
right? So,
At
but
any
the
point of
learning,
at any point of time, did you stop to think that you know what, this is not working, I cannot do this?
no, 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 never,
That is
never.
really
Because
actually.
I don't have a plan B. So this is another thing that I have learned. You don't need a plan B all the time. Like you should really know. How do I have a plan B for my dreams? I need this, period. Now
True.
what needs to get done needs to get done. Khatam. है ना? So
True.
हाँ, no plan B with
The
dreams.
fir- This is actually the first lesson I learned from you. We were in some meeting when you were saying this. Somebody asked you this that you know I don't like posting on social media. Is there any workaround? And you
That's why I
said the
said,
exact same thing. You know what? It is necessary part of your business. So just suck it up and do it.
you
It
just
has to be
have
done.
to
It
do
has
it.
to be done. So
Exactly.
that is so definitely true. So right now, what parts you don't like? I'm sure you have a big team to run, Hen, right now. But what
So
parts of
I
your
have
work that you don't like?
No, it's so I've been in business for so long. It's not like this is not what I like or I don't like, but I know my strengths and my weakness. Like I I am good to talk to, I'm good to build relationship, but when it comes to collecting money, I'm very assertive. So sometimes that may not work. So I know I have learned when you have to be soft and when you have to be strong.
Strong.
So now I have people around me who are better with that. So I have learned that when you build team, get
Hmm.
people to work on your weakness, like who complement you.
Who
So what
can
my strengths,
fill the
yeah, like
gap left
fill
by
that
you?
place. Exactly, and then you build on top of that.
On top of that. True. Anybody who is starting out, especially if you are starting out as an entrepreneur, it takes a lot of support from a lot of people to, get going on a day-to-day basis. So when that is not, really, really admire your journey because one thing you did it when we didn't even know how to get support. Today, if you go and search, there are so many entrepreneurial support groups. Even if you don't, you just go to LinkedIn, find some entrepreneur, find a founder of some company, just ask them for tips. They are going to tell you. They are going to give you that tips. They are going to tell you start with this. You can do this. You know what? I'm doing this. I'm stuck. You can talk to anybody in today's world. But when you started, that was not the world. It was a entirely whole different world altogether, where
Yeah,
communication was very very difficult.
yeah,
So,
no. So what when we started Hen specifically,
mm,
that time also there were groups. ऐसा नहीं
mm.
है, नहीं थे,
I
but
know.
women entrepreneur groups नहीं थे.
True.
Uh, in one of the research, it was said that Hen is almost India's first women entrepreneurs group focused on networking. क्योंकि जो
Networking.
दूसरे groups थे,
Mm,
they were about knowledge sharing. Like Awake was way long. मतलब बहुत पुराने organizations है.
mm.
गवर्नमेंट के भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, बट प्राइवेट
Organization.
ग्रुप्स जो networking पे focus करे वो नहीं थे, but yes.
True. So, basically, give an introduction to anybody who don't know what networking is
Oh, okay.
right
So
now, because many people
if
might not know. If you are not running in
yes,
entrepreneurial circles, it might not be a thing. So,
interesting, but we are networking right, left, and center at every age, because
true.
networking is nothing but it's just about catching up with people. And so if we are young, like if we are like children, play dates, they are networking needs for these children. For
That's right.
parents also, because play dates,
Parents,
mothers or parents are chatting with each other, the children are playing with each other, and it's networking for both the groups actually.
true.
uh, when we're going around in these wedding parties also, it's networking. When we're going around for dinners with friends also is networking is just catching up with people. How it is only different for businesses, because when we say business networking meet, that means we are specifically going with that thought process that we will meet new people and we will talk about business so that we can explore some collaboration. That's the only difference, isn't it?
True. Actually, it helps a lot when you are in on this solo journey. Initial stages. So we are alone thinking about our business. We are alone thinking about our entrepreneurial journey. So it helps a lot going through it with people who are also going through the same thing, who are also facing the same problems, basically who are
Yeah.
battling the same issues. So it
Yeah,
helps a lot to catch up and what they are doing, what you are doing, and that catching up is really really helpful. It's like there is
of
someone to
course.
back at all points. So
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
also.
been, at least for me, a big boon. Because going through this lonely journey, first of all, you don't know whether you're right, you're wrong, where you can do what, where you're going wrong. So there is that pulling of the threads at every end, that whatever you need at any point, somebody else is going through. You can always ask, you can always check. That is the support that I have found with him. So for me, that has been a really
Awesome.
good this thing. In fact, most of people I work with now, my team, everybody is from hell.
Awesome. That gets us some real good testimony. Thank you.
True. So that's how, at least for me, networking has been. But yeah, even for me, when I started back after years, I think there was a lot of self doubt involved. Can I do this at this age, at this stage? Can I do this? But then that first 10 meeting when I came, I saw that there were so many women who were in my stage and who were doing the exact same thing. So that was, a big booster at that point. Because as soon as you open, see, world has become smaller and it has opened up to a lot of opportunities. But it is also scary when you enter as a newbie. First time I went on LinkedIn, there were a lot of suggestions from my, so to speak, old life on LinkedIn. So I connected with them. People are VPs, people who are used to work with me. They are now VPs. They are heading their units. They're all in that level of positions. And I was like, you know what? I'm starting off. How am I starting off at this stage? How am I going to do this? So that support at any stage is always necessary for all of.
Always.
So that support is something that I cherish with him all the time.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
So anything else you want to add in?
No,
Any
just that.
Give me five mindset that anybody who's venturing into entrepreneurship or anybody who's starting their careers right now should have. Any five pointers?
Nothing. You don't need any five pointers actually. Okay, so here it is. If we are starting out on a entrepreneurial journey, right?
Mm,
One, we should stay connected to the reason of why we are starting. And that reason of just making money may not work,
mm.
because it's not an easy journey.
I
It's
agree. Money should
quite
never
a
be
roller
your
coaster.
money should
Money
never be.
has to be no money has to be the reason, but that may not drive you enough, because it will just be making x amount in x Y months, right? Or years, whatever. But
See, the way you fix actually changes a lot of things. You will be driven by it. If you are deciding to make more money, you will compromise on your values. You will compromise on your product. You'll compromise on anything just to, get get
yeah,
that more customer. Get that in the end, we all have been seeing and reading a lot of stories about those kind of things. So that in the end
yeah,
doesn't pay you off. It is not a long
yeah,
run game or a long game that you will be playing in that case. So
yeah.
your work has
So
to be something other than money.
So it's important for you, one, to be connected to the reason of why you are doing what you're doing, number
Mm,
one. Number two, one will fall
mm,
and one will have to dust oneself up and get rolling again. This is
mm.
part of life. They are not business lessons, these are life lessons.
Okay.
And three, of course, believe in it to achieve it. You have to be the first one to believe in your dreams and your goals and your business.
Mm.
Only your belief system then drives to others and they join in your karma. So yeah, by large, if these things are sorted, everything else is very transactional. You'll live through it. The most difficult piece is believe in yourself to live through it,
Uh,
to create
walk
it.
us through something. Like whenever you get a new idea, let's say whether it is regarding hen or any other aspect you want to add some parts to it or whatever the dream that you have in mind. What would you say the steps to execute for it? How would you
Okay,
execute?
so any new idea
Mm,
or solution, if you are in a if you really want to make a business is all about scale. So translate it into scale. How can you scale it? So for example, we recently on hen last year we launched two different kinds of meetings. We launched hen night addas and hen Tuesdays, right?
mm.
And while doing these two, the only question was, can we scale it? So can this happen automatically? Can there be a process? How many people can join? Does it limit? So similarly, for any product or service, how will you deliver it to, say, first 100 people, first 500 people, then 1,000 people, and then scale it? If you can get answer to scaling that product or service, you have a solution to work with.
Okay, that is really good. So, anything else you want to add on to this
Not, re- not
conversation?
really. Just believe in yourself, because you said that this is about this whole conversation is coming from the space of self doubt.
Mm.
As an entrepreneur, we cannot have self doubt.
So,
Self doubt will
anybody
break us.
who is starting out and think that, I don't know whether I can do this, if they're starting out with that mindset, what would
No,
you say
nothing.
to
Nothing.
them?
It is a mindset game. There are no, so I don't have formulas to give people of how you can come out of that mindset of I can't do anything. But what has
Mm,
worked for me is to just tell
mm,
myself that let me do it. I see this as a problem and let me do it. So for example, when we started hen, I saw that there is a problem. I needed a group of people to talk to and see and learn from them. I went in and I tested that product, right? I tested with first 100 people, then 500 people. I understood what's happening here. From Hen Facebook group to when we even launched Hen.community. So we did
mm,
the same thing. We did research. Basis on that research, we created plans. We had financial sheets. We knew, okay, this is our minimum investment to go to check. And basis on that investment, we knew that we will take first 3 months, 6 months. We need to see how this is happening. And during that journey, you also keep learning that to make this big, how do I have to evolve as a person? For any entrepreneur, when business scales, we are the
mm,
first people to scale up. When we grow as people, only then our business grows. For example, when business grows, collaboration is the key. For
mm.
collaboration, you have to be open. You have to allow yourself to be vulnerable also at times, right? It sounds very simple, but
True,
actually, when we are building a business, it's not so simple.
not so simple. True. What did that? change that growth look like for you when you basically, let's say, before you started and to now? What does that growth
No,
look like
lots of changes in me as a person.
as a
In
person?
fact, as a person, and forget what I feel. I have also had people, I have actually seen that journey, Rohini, where I have had some people who've come and told me that we do not want to collaborate with you because,
Mm.
you're very assertive. Or we don't think
Oh.
you have we think you have a mind block. Okay, people do come and put that out to you, and sometimes they are your friends also. Okay,
Mm.
I have had those times when I have told them, doesn't matter. I don't think there is a problem. Okay. And then
Oh.
in my journey, I have understood what they have meant. And I have seen myself evolve also. Sometimes they are right, sometimes I am right. But in principle, I have learned that
Mm.
to grow a business, I have to grow as a person, which means I have to come down, get humble, know when to speak, understand when to be assertive, sometimes let others lead. It's not important for me to lead all the time. A
True.
good leader is not about leading all the time. A good leader should know how to follow. A good giver should know how to receive also.
True. True. Definitely true.
When we learn these things,
Mm.
then so all this self doubt, etc., that comes from the zone of not knowing self or
True.
not trusting self to grow. But
Mm.
if you come from a zone that, okay, this is what I want to do,
Mm.
now to do that,
Mm.
I will go through what I have to go through. With
So,
every hiring, there is so much learning for entrepreneurs.
what's the difference in the way you deal with, let's say a criticism? Like you said, people would come to you and say you don't have a open mindset, we cannot work with you. How you used to deal with that then, and how do you deal with it now?
See, one thing that has been common that at least my friends and my partners and people around me tell me is that every
Mm.
time I have had a criticism come my way, I have taken it and I have gone quiet. So I am
Mm.
somebody as a person that you give me any input, I go back, I reflect, and then I come and I talk about it. I also, as a person, follow one principle, which is I don't say look at I spoke to you so many months or years before I did this mistake, or I will not apologize. Whenever I feel that something was discussed and that wasn't closed, or I have a perspective to it, or I want to go back and tell that person, look, I have learned this from you, or I have evolved in this fashion,
Mm.
I I go back and I do that. So I have all my relationships in that front open, and
Okay.
some fronts where there is a little closure also, I know that we will get back and talk. So this, these are all life lessons, but
Mm.
business and life lessons,
I
they're pretty much,
understand. See, it all goes hand in hand, right? If you grow as
yeah,
a person, is when you go into the
yeah,
next level, when you take the next level and become successful.
yeah,
Your growth and your success professionally or personally depends on how much
yeah,
you grow as a person. So,
yeah,
all
yeah,
very correlated.
yeah, very correlated. So self-doubt
Hmm.
for me again is coming from the seed of saying that, look, I do not trust myself to grow as a person. The
Hmm.
minute we let ourselves free, okay, at the max I will fall, that's all, right? There's nothing more that can happen. I will only fall.
Hmm.
There will be 10 people who will say that she could not do this. उससे
Hmm.
ज्यादा कुछ नहीं होएगा. 10 का 20 हो जाएगा, बट बोलेंगे तो यही, उससे ज्यादा कुछ नहीं बोलेंगे, है ना? क्या फर्क पड़ता है?
That is the point. As soon as we accept कि with whatever people say, क्या फर्क पड़ता है, you go into a different mind space. That's
No,
the.
even for yourself. If I
Huh.
tell myself that I could not do this
Hmm.
or I am not good at it,
No, no. When you tell that to yourself, it makes a lot of difference. When somebody else tells you that, you can always shield it. But when you tell that to yourself, in every single moment's decision making, that doubt creeps in. I'm doing this, but will I be able to do this? कर सकते
no,
हो? नहीं कर
No,
सकते हो
no,
आ
no,
जाता
no, no, no. I want to argue this. So, for
है।
example, है ना, I told you that Rohini, I know my strengths and weaknesses. है ना?
हम्म,
For me to know my weakness, उसका मतलब क्या हुआ? For me to tell myself, my self story is I am good at this and I'm not good at this.
ओके।
Which is why when I'm building a team, I am able to bring in somebody who can do what I cannot do. And when that person comes in, I have to be open to learning from that person. I cannot say, boss, I am your boss, you listen to me.
You listen to me
That
exactly.
person should not listen to me because उसको वो काम मुझसे बेहतर करना आता है. मैं बॉस मतलब घर में हो सकती हूँ, बिजनेस में तो यू नीड रिजल्ट्स, है ना?
True, very true.
So self doubt changes when we say this is my strength and this is my weakness.
Hmm.
Because when I say that this is my strength, I know that I will polish myself on my strength. And when I say this is my weakness, I will be open to learning from others. So self doubt का space ही नहीं होएगा फिर.
See, that is the point. When you know your weaknesses, you don't see it as something that is lacking. You see it as something that you can fill or learn or grow into. That
But
mindset
इतना
is
क्यों?
required,
But
na?
इतना क्यों? Word क्यों चाहिए इतना? इतना पैम्पर क्यों करना है खुद को?
मैं क्या करूँ कोच हूँ वो सब वर्ड्स आ जाता है।
नहीं, नहीं, but the point is, this is my question to everybody.
हम्म,
Why so many, why self story needs so many flowers? Self story should be very simple and it should be very clear. If it is thorn, it is thorn. If it is petal, it is petal. Period, na? उससे
नहीं, I agree. You come from see from learning about your journey so far. From what I can see, your mindset has been strong from the beginning. You have
yeah,
been able to accept spade as spade, ace as ace. What is
yeah,
that? But not everybody comes from that mindset. Everybody
yeah,
cannot accept their weaknesses, cannot accept their criticism about themselves. So they hide their weaknesses. Their criticism जब भी आता है, they cannot handle it. They cannot take it on their own and work on it. So वो वहां पे effect हो जाता है. People who have
hmm,
your kind of strong mindset doesn't get affected, but people who actually come from the mindset कि मैं सब कुछ सही ही करना है, I cannot do mistakes, I cannot fall, what if I fall, the biggest fear in their mind becomes what if I fail, what if I fall. So once you
hmm,
address that what if I fail wala question, nothing will happen. I will grow. See, even if I fail in my business, even if nothing turns out, I am a better person for it.
hmm.
I have grown a lot in the process. I have become a better person for it. I've become a lot better. I've acquired so many skills. I have done so many things.
Correct.
So once you start seeing it with that perspective, वो fear कम होता जाता है.
Hmm,
Which
hmm, hmm, hmm.
from our conversation, I can see you never had that kind
हाँ,
of
because there was no space, no? If I don't do this, there is nothing else that I can do.
skills. I know it was most of the times. Yes, I agree that when we are backed into a corner and there is no other this thing, that is when our strength come out. That is when we realize ki, it's like basically childbirth. No woman will think that they can do it until you do it, until
Yeah,
you go
yeah,
through it. That's when you
yeah,
realize, yeah, my body has so much of strength. So only when
yeah.
you are packed into a corner that happens, that strength comes out and you deal with things. But that mindset can be cultivated even without going through that process, even without facing that, that एक sort of existential crisis moment कि ये है नहीं तो कुछ नहीं है मैं और क्या करूंगी वाला situation आ जाए, उससे पहले ही you can change that mindset and grow as a person. You can change that mindset and become better, become receptive to things, become receptive to what other people are saying, their perspective and my perspective, and put together and start working on these things. That becomes the main part of whether you are an entrepreneur or whether you are working or anywhere in your personal life, in your professional life, that becomes the main part of how you process things. Once you start doing that, once you stop being so centric about yourself, कि मैं क्या कर दूंगा, I won't be able to do it, I will be able to do it, so centric about yourself, and concentrate on the job at hand, concentrate on the work at hand, and think about how best possible ways to do that. So that is when you grow. That is when you become a better person.
Yeah, yeah, true that. So yeah, the deal is
Mm.
just face it, dust yourself and walk.
Is it basically, at any point of time, if you think you have an option, think you don't have one.
Huh, nobody has actually. How do you have an option with your dream or your goal?
I know there is no option, but at
The
times,
only option is you can make it big or small, that's all. Like you serve, so we've had times when
mm,
we were absolutely not so active. There were
mm,
years when we were not able to do much on him, है ना? But one thing that we kept focusing on, that if we cannot do, say, one meeting a month, for example, can we do one in 2 months?
mm,
If we cannot make a difference to 100 people, can we make a difference to one person, two people, five people?
mm.
Actually, even that much is enough, because the only problem in life or in business is when we are stagnant. If
True.
we are if we are not stagnant, then everything is fine.
At least, even if when you are stagnant, you have to think that, at least I'm not going down. Even if I'm not scaling up, even if I'm not leveling up, I'm able to maintain the level that I'm in.
If you are not stagnant, if you are going down, that
Mm.
means we are learning. And if
Okay.
we are not stagnant and if we are growing, we are growing. So in down or high, in both the forms, we are growing only. The
True.
only time we do not grow is when we are stagnant. Think about
Awesome.
it.
True. That is true.
So yeah,
Very true. That's a very big lesson for me right now. Either go
yeah.
down or go up, but never remain in
Don't
the
be
same.
stagnant.
Don't be
वो
stagnant.
डॉक्टर्स बोलते हैं ना, लाइन ब्रीदिंग, वो हार्ट रेट नीचे जाए ऊपर जाए, सीधा
But
नहीं होए बस.
सीधा नहीं हो जाए. True. That is very true. Uh,
Hmm.
Seriously.
Cool.
Lot of things that, from what I observe from entrepreneurial journeys. This is what I do. Actually, I pick a lot of people who have become famous, and then I observe their journeys and what they've done, how they've gone through. What I see is there have been lot of lows. People go through all those lows, and then uh, there is a certain point when you think, yes, I've made it, I've come out, I've made it, I've made my vision come true, basically. So what was that point for you?
I think when we launched Community, of course, it was one big dream come true. Because before that, I was only telling people, suppose there is a place like this, suppose, everybody comes, everybody talks,
Mm,
suppose everybody gets this. There was every time, suppose, and I spent 3 years before Community was launched on the research.
mm,
So when finally we launched on 21st May 21, I remember after that I've been telling people, now there is a home, there is a office, there is a place I
true,
can show you. It's where we all come and everybody can visually see. It is no
true.
more suppose. So that was a very big milestone for me to uh, visually see a place where women entrepreneurs like both of us and all our friends, everybody can come and learn from each other, irrespective of their time and
Mm.
irrespective of any commitment. Whenever you have time, whenever you have a problem, just go put your things out there, browse through the forum, and you're sorted.
So what were your feelings when that happened? How were you? What was your mindset like? What were you feeling
That
when?
day it was like one milestone achieved. Now we are on a bigger journey. Now the first goals will be to have 5,000 people there on the community, then 10,000 people. So I am not somebody who gets one milestone and I'm like, wow, chalo, let's party. That doesn't come to me because I have a bigger picture.
No, I know, I understand. You have to go up, you have to scale up, but
Yes.
at least you have to learn. Especially what I have learned in our entrepreneurial journey is you have to celebrate every small win. Otherwise, at
Yes.
certain point, you will start feeling ki, I'm just chasing something.
Yes.
Otherwise,
Yes.
you will not feel the journey is worthwhile. The journey is
That ways in our team celebrations are happening on a weekly basis because every Friday, every meet that we do, before every meet, I have butterflies in my stomach. And after every meet, I'm like, wow, we could do it.
awesome. Awesome.
So,
I
like today is
I just want
Saturday,
to
I'm
share that
getting ready for the next Friday.
you just last week itself we had a meeting where it was 100 plus attendance. So that
Yes.
meeting was really good.
Yes. That was the, again, first time it happened that we had 100 plus attendance.
Mm.
So that was so for that meeting we had several other learnings. Now February 3rd again we may just have that kind of a turnaround. So we are gearing up for it.
Awesome. So every week it's the same experience, same.
Exactly. Exactly. Now for the
So
next Friday we have a session. So from
mm,
today the work starts. So I the journey starts again from today.
true. That is what is so meaningful about being an entrepreneur. Meaningful about starting your own journey as a whether it is personal or professional. Kind of both of them come and mix together when you start being an entrepreneur, so to speak.
Of course.
It is no
It
longer
is like this.
it is
It is
no
not
longer
like
your
this.
professional life and personal life. It all comes
No.
entangled at
Yeah.
some. So
Yeah.
you as a person starts to feel very alive. That has been my experience so far. From
Mm,
working for someone else to starting my own this thing. At least for
mm.
me, that has been that experience. And for
Nice.
me, Jen has been a really, really
Thank
good
you.
support system, so to speak, for
Thank you.
that journey.
Thank
So,
you.
any last words before we wrap up the episode?
To all the viewers, believe in yourself. If you believe in yourself, you can achieve it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. On that note, we're going to wrap this episode up. See you all next week. Join us for the next episode.